welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call The Good Life. Today we're going to be talking about composting and why you do it and how you can do it and how I do it, and I'm going to be giving you some top tips so you'll feel really confident composting. For a start, to compost it's really good for the environment because you're not putting things into landfill and you can reuse it yourself on your garden to help your crops grow. So that's one of the pluses for doing it, and it's great to give something back to the ecosystem as well. So when I'm composting, I feel really great about the fact that I'm giving something back and I'm not causing more pollution and more air miles. So I've obviously got this composter here, which is called a SubPod, which I use at home because it's really great for a small garden environment. I've also got my composters up at the allotment because obviously I've got a lot more space up there and a lot more material to compost. But back home in the garden, I'm going to be showing you how I compost using my SubPod. But the principles of why you compost and how you compost are the same whether you do it on a large scale or a small scale. So I hope that makes sense. So I also must say that if you've not subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because I give lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year about growing things, composting and various things in and around the garden. And statistically a lot of people watch my channel but they don't subscribe, and it makes a massive difference to the amount of people that see the videos that I do and the amount of people that I can help. So if you could subscribe and put something in the comments, that'd be really amazing. Now moving back on to how we compost. So the compost system that I've got here at home is something called a SubPod. You can just sink them in the garden, but I chose to have one in a raised bed because the great thing about it is I can plant a few things in it, and I find the heat from the SubPod helps the things grow a little bit better. And in particular, my parsley never seems to die off in the winter because I think it gets a little bit of heat from the composting system itself. And I've got a few things in there. I've got parsley, I've got chives, I've got thyme, I've got some kale in there, I've got some marjoram there, so I've got various things in there, and I did have coriander until something ate it. So this is my SubPod, and you open it up. It's got two sides to it. I actually did have things composting in both sides, but this morning I've moved everything over to one because it had all broken down quite a lot, and I wanted to then concentrate putting some new scraps in there. Now the things you put in there are the things from your garden, weeds, vegetables from your kitchen that you've, like the peelings and things like that. On the SubPod, one really great thing is it gives you an idea of what can go into your SubPod. So it gives you, yes please, cut or tear into small pieces, food scraps, veggies, fruit. It says you can put bread and eggshells in there. Personally I don't, I stick to all green goods. Coffee granules, definitely yes. Dry leaves, grass clippings, newspaper, tissues, egg cartons, toilet rolls. If you're putting paper in, which is a really good thing to put some paper and some strawy things because it puts carbon back into your compost, which is really good for your soil, is that you don't put stuff with lots of ink on it. If there's any sellotape on it, you remove it. If there's any staples, you remove it, that kind of thing. I've had to take a few tea bags out because they're not compostable ones, and I didn't realise when I put them in there. So as I was turning it over, I removed them because it's quite clear there's plastic in those and they're not composting down. I try and always get tea bags that do break down. In fact, I make a lot of my own tea, so I don't even use tea bags some of the time, but sometimes the odd one slips through the net when someone buys you a gift or something. And it also tells you things that you mustn't put in there. So obviously no plastics, no metals, no cigarette butts, no glass. Not that you would, but just in case you were unclear on that. And you can still put onion and garlic and citrus fruits and chilli, but just don't put too many in there. And while you can put in the SubPod, but not your general composter, things like meat, bones and fish and oil and cheese, I personally don't. Because we live in a built-up environment, it might encourage vermin, but technically you can put them in there if you wanted to, but I wouldn't. I would just stick to weeds, to vegetables that I've either gone over or I've peeled them and I want to put them in there. When I'm cutting my trees down and things like that can go in there, but obviously you want to cut them up quite small. And we do often put a bit of shredded paper, and if you've got chickens, obviously you can put some manure in there as well to even out the balance of what you're putting in there. So, and if we just lift this up, so what you get is when you order your SubPod from this company, and we will put a link there if you want to get one. I really recommend it. I really love using mine. And there's various different systems you can use, so not just the one that I've got here. So there's different options to the different size garden, or indeed if you've got a balcony, you can even have one of these on a balcony. Is you pop everything in there and you layer it up. You then cover it. You get your cover with your SubPod. Mine's actually broken, so I've had to get, so this was compostable food packaging, which I used to cover mine with, and I've turned it all over. It still does need to break down a little bit more, so I've left it in there. You do actually get something to help you turn it round. So like with a composter over the allotment, where you need to turn it over to create air and to help it compost, this is a really easy way of doing it. Let me just put my umbrella down. As you can see, the lovely weather here in England is absolutely fantastic at the moment. We need the rain, but not when I'm doing a video. And you literally put it down and it helps turn it round. You know, so you pull it up and it helps oscillate it round. So as you can see, I'm pulling up a bit of straw there from underneath, and that's exactly what it's meant to do. So you put it in, you twist it, and it helps turn it over. I mean, I've actually turned this over quite well this morning, and I've put some things in the middle that I want to break down, so I'm not going to turn it around too much at the moment. The other great thing about this is because it's got the holes in it, you know, any worms will come in through the holes and help everything break down. I'm actually, as you can see, little worms in there now, look. So we're not short of worms. There's a few there. I can see a few more down the side there. That all helps everything all break down. Now you can buy worms in, but we have a wormery already, which we moved some of the worms in there. But just by lifting up a pot or something, you can often find a few worms if you want to encourage a few in there. But honestly, you probably won't need to. As soon as you start doing something like that, it's like when we put our pond in, the frogs and toads just kind of, you know, we're attracted to it like a magnet, and exactly the same thing with the composter as well. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea of how you compost, and it's going to encourage you to start composting. Like I say, we have put a link up for the SubPod if you want to get one of those because you think it would be a good fit for your garden, and there will be a link in the description. And if you've got any questions about composting and you're not sure about something, then drop me a line and we'll do our best to answer.